Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. I'm Tom Leach, along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Wagering Development. We're going to take a look at the closing day card, which includes the final stakes race of the fall meet. But before we do that, Jim, there are some things that horse players need to know about heading into the final couple of days, or final day.
It's hard to believe that we're at the final day already. 17 days goes by really quickly around here. Last day, of course, is according to Kentucky Horse Racing Commission rules, we must pay out the pick 5, the pick 6, and the Super I5. So when you're playing on Saturday, make sure we may have a carryover into one or all of those. And so it's a great value. You got to pay out even if you only hit 5 out of 6 or 4 out of 5 on the pick 5. So it's always a good day to play and get you a little bit of money for the Breeders' Cup next weekend. So we'd love for you all to take Keeneland money and invest it back in the Breeders' Cup.
There you go. So good luck on whatever you're playing, pick 5, pick 6, all of it on Saturday. And we'll go to the Saturday card. We'll start with the stake, which is the Grade 2 Hagyard Fayette. It's for 3-year-olds and up at 1 mile and an eighth. And this is often a race that produces a horse that really takes it to another level the next year. Hofburg might be that kind of horse. He's probably going to be the solid favorite in here, I would think. You going to try to beat him?
I think he's beatable, and I'm not a huge Hofburg fan. He seemed to be the buzz horse in every race of the Triple Crown. It seemed like the Belmont. He went off at 5-1, and he ran okay. He justifiably beat him by 3.5 lengths. And he comes back and won a little stakes at Saratoga. Didn't fire in the Pennsylvania Derby. I've never been a huge fan of Hofburg. I think he's got a lot of untapped potential, and maybe he does it on Saturday. And you certainly got to use him in the pick 4. But I'm going to say that either the 1 Prime Attraction shipping in from the West Coast for Jim Cassidy with DeSormo to ride, or possibly the 5 Leofric for Brad Cox. Each of them have equal chances, I think, to knock off Hofburg. So I'm thinking that those two, even though the morning lines are 2-1, 5-2, and 5-2, I'm thinking like you that the public will go along with the Derby horse. The other angles, you've got a 3-year-old here that only has raced 7 times against 2 5-year-olds who have raced 12 and 18 times. So I think the experience factor, just the fact that Hofburg has not really come through like everybody thought he would. I'm going to play against him here. I'm going to use him in the pick 4, but I'm going to take Prime Attraction for the win. He runs back. He's the only horse in here that's touched multiple triple-digit buyers, and he did that 3 times in a row last year at Santa Anita, and almost won a Grade 2 and won a Grade 3. So he fits on class. DeSormo comes in to ride. Prime Attraction is my pick. I think Nice Not Nice might be the horse that busts up the trifecta with those 3. Horse got really good in the ACAC and almost won against Seeking the Soul, who's a Breeders' Cup Classic horse. So I think Nice Not Nice is my long shot pick in there, but Prime Attraction is going to be my pick.
I am going with Leofric. I like that race last time in the Woodward. First time going 1 mile and an eighth, ran a 98 buyer. It was his first Grade 1. And in a short field, I always like speed, and I think this horse can, last 2 races, got to the front, and would make sense, I think, to go back there again here. And if he gets to the front, maybe he can take him all the way and slow it down a little bit. I'm not sure anybody else wants to be on the front end. Hofburg's my second pick, and it's working great. I'll excuse the Pennsylvania Derby just because that track can be quirky. So we'll see on him. I think his better days are coming next year probably. Prime Attraction, got to use off the angles you mentioned. Nice Not Nice is certainly worth a look too. I think that horse's last 2 races are improved and significantly so. So I am going to key on Leofric in there and use the others with him. Let's go to the 7th race, and that starts the late pick 4. So take me through the 7th, 8th, 10th, and your pick 4.
All right, I'm going to go heavy early and light late. So first race is a mile and 16th turf allowance. Hopefully it's raining as we tape this, but hopefully the rain will cease and we will be on the turf on Saturday. That's the way I handicapped it. It probably wouldn't be much different if it goes on the dirt because hardly any of these horses have any dirt form that stands out. So I'm going to handicap it just like it's going to be on the turf, and I probably wouldn't change it much because you never know how they'll adapt to it. I'm going to go deep here, and I think the most likely winner is Junkanoo, the 10 horse for Chad Brown, coming off a yielding turf course win at Belmont, 68 buyer on September 22nd. I always got to use Chad Brown in turf races, and this horse fits well. But these are 2-year-olds, so I'm going to go really deep in this race. I'm going to use Credit Swap the 3, who ran here in the Indian Summer on opening weekend, and only got beat 3 lengths to strike silver. Ran pretty good. Didn't step it up in the buyer numbers, but has obviously a lot of potential and probably can step forward from that race. The 4 All-American Hero for Cassie, the 8 English B for Graham Motion, the 10 Junkanoo, as I mentioned, is probably going to be the choice. Also use Go Away for Eddie Keneally and Jose Ortiz at 12. And if the 14 gets in, I'm going to use Land of the Pharaohs for Tom Amos. So I'm going to go 5 deep there and 6 deep if the 14 gets in. 8th race, going to do the same thing. It's a wide open allowance race at 7 furlongs. I'm going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. Use all the middle horses. And my pick is the 7 horse Mac Jagger, coming off a allowance win at Belmont at 7 furlongs. I'm sorry, coming off a good race at Belmont. Didn't win, but got within 3 3/4 of the length of the lead. And buyer progression 68, 79, 86. So Mac Jagger is my pick. But I'm also going to use all the middle horses that we talked about. Traveling Midas, Midnight Pleasure, Silver Dust, Ballard High, and Amaral, who for Correas won at Churchill at 7 furlongs, about 4 1/4. So horse breaking its maiden at 7 furlongs in first start, you've always got to look at them. And then we talked about the feature race, and my single is coming in the 10th race. Last race of the day, the last race of the meet is a get-out race, and I'm going to take a stand with I Remember Mama. Tom Drury doesn't have a lot of horses. He's only got 117 starts in 2018, but he's got 33 wins for a 28% strike rate. He puts him in the right place. And I Remember Mama only got beat a half length to a really good horse called On Leave at Kentucky Downs in a $239,000 stakes race, drops back in an allowance race. I think this sets up perfectly for her closing kick. You got a little bit of speed on the inside, and I think she runs them down in the stretch and makes my last pick 4 of the meet a winning one. So my pick 4 is 3, 4, 8, 10, 12 with a 14 in parentheses if it gets in, with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, with 1, 5, 6, 3 I talked about in the Fayette, with 6. So that's 5 by 6 by 3, and with a single, it's $45 ticket.
I am going to use 2 horses in the first leg, and this I will say from reading Jeremy Plunk's stats column on the Expert Picks tab at Keeneland.com, I think this particular class, the 2-year-olds going long on the turf, has produced some of the biggest upsets of the meet. So I'll just throw that out there. I'm going to go narrow here because I want to spread out other places. So I'm going to use Credit Swap and All-American Hero. I really like that last race for All-American Hero at Churchill and the 70 buyer in the debut, or not the debut win, but the maiden win. But Credit Swap, I think off that nice race you mentioned in the stake here at Keeneland, I think that's my win pick. Somebody's going to stand with those 2. Second leg, I'm going to take 5 horses. Ballard High has worked well since moving into the Stewart barn. Might improve second off the layoff. So I'm going to try that one. But I like Mac Jagger. I like JS Choice for a little bit of a price. That horse had a wide trip against a good field. Had a pretty good buyer. Stretches out to 7 furlongs. And for whatever reason, Ben Colebrook seems to do really well with horses that stretch out to 6.5 and particularly 7 furlongs or the Beard course. So I'm going to use JS Choice. Also Amaral that you mentioned for Correas, and Silver Dust the 4. Then I'm going to use all 4 that I mentioned in the Fayette, 1, 2, 5, and 6. I'm using I Remember Mama in the last leg, certainly. And, if you want a single, you can cut my ticket considerably down. I also used English Dancer and Esquisse, the 8 and the 5. Smart Shot could also be considered in there, but left that one out to get the ticket to $60. So I'm 3, 4 with 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, with 1, 2, 5, 6, with 5, 6, 8. You could, if you want to take the stand that Jim's taken and single in the last leg, you could take a few more in that first leg, which wouldn't be the worst idea. Or if you want to play a couple of pick fours. You could single I Remember Mama, go deeper in that first leg, and then narrow down the first leg and add a couple more in the last leg and play it two different ways. So a couple of ways to go. Best of luck in getting out with a good win at some point on the card on Saturday. And then, Jim, next week, Breeders' Cups over at Churchill Downs. They start racing on Sunday. And for folks in the Lexington area, what's the plan for betting the Breeders' Cup at the Red Mile if they want to come out to simulcasting?
Yeah, the plan for Breeders' Cup is at Red Mile. There'll be no simulcasting at Keeneland. It'll start on Thursday with, we'll have advanced wagering on the entire Friday card and the entire Saturday card. So if you want to beat the crowd, come out on Thursday. It'll be a great day to place your wagers. And then we open up on Friday at 8 a.m. There's no drive-through wagering, but there is inside wagering in the main line, so you can come in around by the track at 8 a.m., and we'll have plenty of clerks there. And then we have a full staff of clerks coming on at 12 o'clock before post time. And then on Saturday, the same way, we'll open up at 8 o'clock, and we'll go all day long. There's plenty of parking over there. There's plenty of room if you get there early. It's Breeders' Cup at Red Mile. If you're interested in a dining experience, you can make reservations by calling the Red Mile main number, 255-0752. We have a buffet in the clubhouse with really good TV coverage, private clerks, and a really good Breeders' Cup experience. I think tickets are $55, so you can call anytime before next Saturday, and going to be a good time. Breeders' Cup is an exciting time, especially when it's at Churchill, and got a lot of wide open races up there. We're going to be taking a look at those next week on the podcast.
Best of luck with the Saturday card at Keeneland. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach. This is the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.